Hello there ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another PvP strategy analysis. Today we're going to be checking out the Captain Hammer warrior build made famous by Taugrim. You can check out Taugrim's guide to this build in the description below. So first up, the weapons. We've gone for dual maces in one weapon set and then the hammer in the other weapon set. This is all obviously very CC based. We've got cripple on a number 3, a knockback on number 4, and a knockdown on number 5, and a stun as the burst ability. It's a range stun, absolutely fantastic. Over on the mace, we've gone for a number 3 is our daze ability, and the number 5 is a knockdown. Absolutely fantastic, this ability. 1200 range, knockdown for 2 seconds. That's brilliant. And also another stun on the burst. Next up, we've got the mending as our heal. This could, I think, could possibly be swapped out for healing surge. This build tends to build up adrenaline very, very quickly, and the healing surge gives such a massively powerful heal. You could possibly swap it out there. For the utility abilities, we've gone for 3 different shouts. So we've got for great justice, giving us fury and might, shake it off, curing conditions from us and nearby allies, and also breaking stuns, and then fear me to induce fear in our nearby foes. And the closer they are to you, the more fear they get, and it pushes them further and further away. So absolutely brilliant ability there. For the elite, we've gone for the Signet of Rage, granting us adrenaline passively. The main point of this is the active effect, giving us fury, might, swiftness. Next up, we're going to take a quick look at the armour. So we've gone for the soldier runes in there. We've got giving us plus vitality, plus toughness, and shouts remove a condition. This basically makes all these 3 abilities now condition removal. So we get 2 conditions removed by mending, 2 conditions will now be removed by shake it off, and we'll also get condition removal on for great justice and fear me. So we've got quite good condition removal now. Like I said, this is why you could possibly swap this out for healing surge if you feel you're not being pressured by conditions too much, or you're looking at the enemy team setup and they're not condition heavy. You could possibly swap it out for healing surge, because you're still going to get the ability to remove 3 conditions there, not including stuns, because shake it off removes stuns by itself. In the weapon sets for the sigils, we've gone for the Sigil of Superior Battle in the hammer and the Sigil of Superior Battle in the first mace. Bear in mind this has a 9-second internal cooldown on it that isn't displayed, so if you're swapping your weapon sets faster than 9 seconds, which this warrior build is able to do, you will not trigger the sigils in the other weapon set, especially because we've also gone for the Sigil of Leeching in the mace. So yeah, definitely bear in mind, if you're swapping weapon sets too quickly, you won't be getting those effects. Very, very important to bear in mind. We are going to have a video looking at why these sigils are built this way, and we're going to show you what sigils work well together and things like that, and how you should bear in mind that these do affect your gameplay very massively, and how you should be playing it. We have a video on that very shortly, so you keep an eye out for that one. So yeah, just something to bear in mind. And over for the amulet, we've gone for the Cleric's amulet, giving us power, toughness, and healing power, boosting up the heal from this very effectively. Next up, the traits. We've gone for a 0, 0, 20, 30, 20 setup, giving us thick skin, extra armor with health is above 90%. Gain adrenaline when hit. Like I said, this build builds up adrenaline very quickly, and this is part of the reason. You're going to see why we have a lot of adrenaline building traits, which is why I do think you could possibly swap this out, like I said. Adrenal health, regenerate health based on adrenaline level. And then Merciless Hammer. Hammer damage increased by 25% when a foe is disabled. Disabled abilities are up quite regularly, so it is fairly effective on your targets, but this build isn't really built to be dealing much damage. The main part of this is a reduced cooldown on the hammer seals by 20%. It also gives us toughness and healing power, so a lot of synergy coming in there with the rest of the way the build is built as well. Over in tactics, we've gone for 30 points, so we've got vitality increased by 300 and boon duration increased by 300. The boon duration is very important, and we're going to look at that in a second. Gain 5 extra toughness per level while reviving. So that's giving us quite a bit of toughness when we're reviving someone, which will help. As this build is very CC heavy, you can help to revive your allies very effectively. Empowered. Now this is why you want this increased boon duration, and the way it's actually increasing this elite skill up very high as well, and also the ones on for great justice and on our weapon swap, don't forget as well, where we're getting extra stacks of might. Increased damage for every boon on you, so it's going to massively buff it up very effectively. And also, of course, if you're working with guardians, they can apply a hell of a lot of boons to the nearby allies, so that's very effective if you are doubling up with a guardian. Fast healer, increased revive speed by 10%, again very effective. We've got a lot of abilities that are fantastic for reviving your allies, so you can cast Fear Me, for example, even when you're mid-revive. Absolutely amazing skill. We're going to actually have a video again looking at how to revive teammates, how to effectively do that, traits you should be looking at, abilities you should be looking at bringing with you to aid you in reviving your allies. And that's a very important part of the game to do that, and also how to finish enemy people off is also just as important. So we're going to have 2 different videos looking at that in the near future, so keep an eye out for that. Next up, for our 25 points, we've got Reviver's Might, grant might to nearby allies when you revive someone. So you can see all these passive ones are basically boosting up our ability to revive our teammates. And lastly, shouts heal. So this is going to make all these 3 shouts heal us. Absolutely fantastic. And because we've got the healing amulet and this healing coming in from the defense line, the heal is actually over 2k for each one of these, so it's giving us a massive burst of HP. 20-second cooldowns on each of those, so that's 4k every 20 seconds, plus that on every 25 seconds. So you're looking at over 10k of healing every, what, 10.5 seconds, something like that. So very, very effective. That's not even including the Fear Me shout. Next up, we've got 20 points in Discipline. So we've got 5 stacks of Adrenaline on a weapon swap, just generally useful to keep our adrenaline nice and high. We can use these burst abilities more effectively. Gain adrenaline while using a shout. Again, this is just getting the synergy up with these shouts to make them more effective, and they can basically give us quite a lot of a bar. It gives us 27% of the entire thing, so if you burst them all off, you're pretty much up to nearly a full bar of adrenaline. And next up, we've got weapon swapping recharges 5 seconds faster. This is where the problem kicks in with these sigils that we're using, is that they're not necessarily triggering effectively if you're swapping them in a shorter time than 9 seconds. So there is a problem there with this build that I would point out. I mean, you could possibly mix up these sigils a little bit. It's good to have the increasing the number of boons on you though, so it's sort of deciding what you really want to do with it, I suppose. If you were going to swap it out, I would recommend maybe sigils of bloodlust or sigils of life, something like that, that just stack up as you get kills, because this build is quite tanky, so you will build up kills quite effectively throughout the game. Lastly, we've got Warrior Spirit, run faster while wielding melee weapons. This is mainly because most of these abilities are very close up. Obviously, we get the Swiftness boon coming in from our Signet of Rage, giving us that, which is obviously going to help us a lot, because then we can travel around a little bit quicker. But obviously, with all these abilities being melee, it is quite difficult to stay on top of the target. So now we're just going to get into the start of the game, and we're going to break down a match and show you how this build is played. So as you can see, we're going to be on the Legacy at the Foe Fire for this match, and we're going to head towards the central point. Not really the best point for this build to be used on. It's generally better on one of the side points, as you can knock players back quite effectively, and the central point on this map is very large. I'm going to slow the video down as we get into this fight. It's very important parts I want to take note of. So we're coming up here towards, we've got 4 players from the enemy team against us. We're going to pop off our number 5 skill and try to land a knockback. We've targeted the player who is behind the one in front. This is important. This knockback will actually go through players and knock players down in front of them, but it will stop once it reaches the target. So you want to aim for someone a little bit further behind the actual one of the players you want to target. So here we should hit the Guardian and the Necromancer behind them. Unfortunately, the Guardian put that bubble up, which I think blocked the ability, because it is technically a ranged projectile. It did block the ability, even though it does look like it goes through the ground. It does classify as a ranged projectile, so it got blocked. So good play by that Guardian to block us, but also a good effective use of that ability to try and make sure you're targeting effectively with it. So we're getting heavily focused here, as it's only 4v1 of course, so we're going to pop off the Fear Me ability, try and push them back a little bit and buy our team some time. Obviously we don't want them capping the point too quickly, so we've got to try and stay within the circle, but we can't get too heavily focused. We've now also built up a full adrenaline bar as well, so we're able to open up with the burst ability there to daze and to stun that Guardian and stop them from doing any damage. So we've now seen that warrior there is burst off his frenzy ability, so he's got a quickness boon up at the moment, but we can't actually get onto him. We're moving a little bit slowly. Our swiftness boon isn't fully up. We were crippled, I do believe, then actually, which was slowing us down. I'm just going to speed the video back up a little bit for the rest of this fight. So you can see that warrior there just trying to use some stuns and CC, but we're generally just trying to support our teammates and just apply stuns where we can. The pressure this build does apply is actually very strong. And again, trying to go for a revival here, out damaging that 100 blades that came from that warrior and getting our teammate back up on their feet very effectively. Knocking down that Guardian there. As you can see, the enemy team is running a very strong sort of supportive team setup, so it's quite hard to actually face off against this sort of setup when you're all on even sort of terms and even numbers. So I'm trying to call out the elementalists here to be focused down, because I can tell they're fairly squishy and they're sort of trying to kite around to the back. They're in the air for treatment, swapping into water, hopefully just trying to spike them down a little bit. We've got one of their players down, 2 players down, and the blue team begin here to just take a bit of a lead over the reds. You can just see effective use of CCs and stuff here, using our burst ability there to stun both players and put them both into the down state with support of our allies, and then we can finish them all off and just clean house really. So a good effective play there from the blue team. They brought the critical mass very effectively, and the targeting was the biggest issue. This is just a pug game, by the way. These are just random players that we came across during matchmaking, but yeah, basically you could just see it's just all about trying to focus as much as possible. So again here, using the number 5 skill to try and knock down the players, knock one back, just trying to keep them at range so we can just control this point a little bit. There's no point in letting them get in on top of us where we can just keep them scared and away. You can see there just the Guardian just laying down some fire as well. We did pop our number 2 ability, which is a block when stood in front of them. So that's a good way to use your block as well to support your allies. You can use it up while standing in front of a teammate. Also fantastic use for the warrior ability, the Guardian mace ability as well. Their one's absolutely brilliant for that. So we've got a lot of pressure over here at the waterfall, so again I'm going to slow the video down while we discuss this. So we're coming in and dropping Fear Me almost instantly to try and pull them off of our teammate who's taking a lot of pressure, following that up with the burst ability from the hammer to try and stun them. Basically just want to support our teammate and keep them alive for a second to give them a chance to recover. Also don't forget, popping off our shouts heals them, so coming in with that quick Fear Me not only healed our ally to support them, but also got all the enemy players away from them. Again, I'm trying to focus the Necromancer here rather than all these heavy armor players who are around. It's just obviously causing some issues because, like I said, a pug game, no verbal communication, that kind of thing, it does cause some problems. Speeding the video a little bit back up again. Now, generally forcing them back. We've got some pretty good bursts coming in. That Crocodile Dundee, the thief, was very strong. Bursting abilities, as the thief does have very well. He uses the sword pistol ability, the pistol whip, which is absolutely fantastically strong at the moment. Very, very bursty. And you see weapon swapping there, we did get the leeching and the might stack. It's obviously just, like I said, you've got to time it right so you don't get caught out by the internal cooldown. I really wish ArenaNet would actually notify players that this internal cooldown's there. Good use of the stun there, stunning both players, and they're following it up with the knockback to split them apart, so then we can then come over here to focus down the Necro. And you can see this build does deal reasonable amounts of damage. It's not particularly strong, but it is fairly effective. Again, popping our elite skill to try and make an escape, but we actually get caught out. Our shouts are coming all back up though, and that's going to give us the condition removal we need to take on this central engagement. Again, you can see one of our teammates now being heavily pressured. Coming to support him, popping off all of our shouts to help heal him back up. You see he's up and out on nearly full HP, and also force back all the players around him except for, I think it was the warrior who had stability up. Again, we're going to switch over to the elementalists, as we know they're fairly squishy and definitely one of the bursters for the red team. So we're going to focus them and just keep them preoccupied. Basically, you just don't want to let them get any damage out too much. Getting hit there by updraft, that was what it was that pushed us back there, so we know he's using a dagger build, which is fairly bursty. Again, he's trying to support his ally there, and we're just providing the CC to let our teammate then finish them off. A lot of people get complacent when they see someone coming to revive them, they think it's going to happen, and they actually stop doing anything. They stop even attacking or trying to heal themselves. And we're able to bring the elements down there as well. So good effective teamwork there. This is something we're going to be looking at in a video very soon, how to effectively support your teammates when you're reviving and finishing off players. It's a really, really important part of the PvP at the moment. I see a lot of people complaining that you can't win these 2v1 engagements because of the way the downstate works, but you can actually do it. You just need to bear that in mind when you're creating your build. You need some sort of ability in there that can work. I mean, you might not be up all the time, but it is definitely useful to have one. Here we're just trying to keep this Guardian a little bit busy and stop them from getting onto the central point too quickly. For some reason he's burning some of his skills there. But yeah, we're just trying to keep him a little bit preoccupied, just hold him back a little bit. That's a good point. The number 5, the burst skill there, you just sort of try to use it coming down the ledge. I'll rewind the video so we can catch it. So we're trying to use it now against him who's down a level below us. We pop out and it slams down here, but it doesn't actually apply the stun to the ground level. It's really strange. It's kind of buggy and irritating that it doesn't actually take you down to the level of the player. So yeah, big problem there. Again, we're popping Fear Me there as we came into the circle, being fairly proactive with the use of that. You can hold it back. In some ways I would recommend holding it back, but proactive use can be effective as well, as it obviously just to support teammates. Again, we didn't actually need to get any CC off then because our teammate was actually going to manage to finish them off first anyway. And again, we've got some critical mass coming in. We've got the Thief who's going to provide some burst abilities, the Guardian and myself to tank, and also this the Warrior build obviously providing the CC on the enemies. So again, you've got to just learn the timings. There we saw another good clutch finisher made by the blue team. It's all about getting the timing right. You need to know whether you're going to be able to finish them off before they're able to revive them. And it's just a matter of practice and learning the speeds and times. Again, proactively coming back to the waterfall now. Like I said, no communication in this team yet. You can time it right in your head if you just work it out that players will be coming back up. We're going to talk about respawning and stuff like that as well. Loads of video plans, by the way. I've got absolutely masses to be covering soon. But yeah, respawning is something that's very important as well. It's something to bear in mind. So we've got some critical mass being brought over again. We've got our teammate Necromancer coming to support us over here. This build does not really pack the damage to be finishing off players very effectively. And this engineer is doing a very good job of kiting us. We do have our swift spin up. We should probably really be making sure we maintain cripples on them. They are crippled now, but keeping that cripple on them is very important. Got interrupted there trying to use our burst ability as well, which was very effective play by the engineer. And we're now getting focused down by 2 players. We've got a guardian and that engineer both double teaming us. So we're going to pop off the hill, follow it up with the burst ability, again getting interrupted, switching over to the mace instantly because it gives us a burst ability. It's actually up. We got it stun off on the engineer, but we're now getting heavily focused. All our heals and shouts are on cooldown. Right now would probably be a good idea to pop the elite. It's going to be too far now. We're actually going to be brought down. Try switching target to the one who's trying to finish us off to get the knockdown off. It doesn't look like we're going to get any support for this encounter. No, we are brought down. But you could basically see the general gist of how the build can survive fairly effectively. If you're on low HP, you just need those heals to come back up a little bit quicker. Sorry, the shouts to come back up a little bit quicker. It's just unfortunate. If we had popped the elite skill off, we could use the swiftness boon to flee out of that and maybe survive a little bit longer. But the point was we were just trying to stay on point, I think, to stop the enemy team from capping it. Because obviously once they've capped it, they start getting some points from it. At the moment, the blue team have got a very strong lead. So again, our teammates getting heavily pressured here. So we're coming in again, popping Fear Me straight away, popping off our other shouts to heal them back up. So now you can see it in the top left-hand side. We got up to about half HP. They were on very low HP just before that. Burst skill there to apply a stun. It didn't apply it to everyone. They must have had stability boons up, which obviously is the biggest weakness of this build. If you're fighting a guardian using some sort of high stability builds, it can be a massive issue. This engineer is also running a very buff heavy build as well, but he's able to be brought down fairly effectively. The central point has actually got no one at it at the moment. This is one of the problems the red team was having, is they were trying to go 2 en masse to points. They weren't spreading their bets enough all over the map, was the major issue they had throughout the game. And the quarry's also got a player from the blue team over there as well, capping it at the moment. Where the blue team were just a bit more mobile. This build isn't the most mobile build in the world, I wouldn't say, but because of the elite applying swiftness, and you can keep it up quite a lot of the time, you can proactively use that elite skill just to travel around the map if you wanted to. So we've got 2v1 against this Elementalist at the moment. We're just trying to, like I said, just keep the pressure on them, keep them trying to play defensively. Getting burst down now by a 100 Blades Warrior jumping in there, but we're able to finish off the Elementalist. So now they're going to be a lot weaker. That Warrior has basically used up his one-trick pony on us, which is just not smart. You don't want to use it on someone who's tanky. And there we go, the blue team do win. But yeah, basically what that Warrior did is he used up his one-trick pony ability, which is the Bull's Charge 100 Blades combo, which is very standard at the moment for Warriors and easily predictable. And these sort of builds are hard counter to it because they just can't, even if they get you knocked down, you've got loads of shouts you can use to heal yourself back up, and you've got a quick cooldown on the healing skill as well, and you've got so much CC. Even if you get back up on low HP, you can just CC them and off till your heals come back up. So I hope you've enjoyed this guide to the well, not really a guide, this analysis of a Captain Hammer Warrior build gameplay. Leave me some comments and feedback below, and like I said, don't forget to check out all our other shows and subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much.